Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, North Park Building at Academy Square here in downtown Seneca Falls. Great to have you along for the ride. Welcome to all those that are tuning in at home. And episode number 260 is on deck. It's going to be a busy one. We've got Nick King joining us. He's going to be talking to us about the Florida Nationals that are coming up here on Saturday. We're going to touch base on WinterSLAM quick on that one. That one's coming up this weekend as well. We've also got a recap a little bit of the Capital City Carnage entry list that we told you we would take a little bit of a look at. And rounding it out, we'll be catching up with Brad Witt. It's been a while since Brad Witt's been on the show. He is working on a four-man team show in Des Moines, Iowa, coming up on the 23rd of February. So yet another new off-season, it's fair to say off-season, off the beaten path anyway, show. Outdoors of a team show, rather, coming up in February. So it's getting even more densely packed.
As I was driving here tonight, I was like, man, I can't believe that, we missed Bash for Cash and we're like on to the middle of the season with it being 60 here in New York. It was, we jumped ahead in our season some.
When I left here last Thursday, I sent, that was the night that I told you that I sent Eric Moulet the footage of our area and how much snow and how cold it was, etc. And it felt like negative 21. Mm-hmm. And today it was 61 when I left work. So that's an 80-degree swing.
Yeah. Gotta love New York.
Pretty handy improvement.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the Derby world. We, you can't say off-season anymore, I guess.
No,
I guess from maybe the middle of January or December to mid-January, there isn't any shows that we know of offhand. Is that a safe assumption?
Red Deck Rebel was like last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's the end of January. So
yeah, it is.
There's like a month, like the week before Christmas to around the week of my birthday.
There's a solid 25 days.
We got less time off than NASCAR does.
I know.
We put on a better product than them anyway. So.
And you want to know something? They're working on their 7th generation cars for 2021. We're still wrecking stuff from the 70s.
Absolutely. 60s.
Like who's more 50s. Advanced here? Really?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Dan Bolton celebrating a birthday while we were away. Happy birthday to Dan. And I don't know if you noticed.
Those trucks for sale that he was going to build?
I don't know.
Oh, just checking.
Is that true?
Probably. I don't know. Sold it for his birthday and buying something else.
He'll buy it back by the end of the month.
He'll buy it back.
I did not. Actually, I was trying to be nice to Dan. I wasn't even going to pick on him about selling everything under the sun. It was, but
he does do that.
You beat me there, very, very, very well. So Eric Remington posted that he has graduated. He's got his equivalency diploma. He completed it today, which is cool. It takes some determination, some will, and a lot of self-confidence to go back and do that. So I'm
congratulations.
Very proud of Eric. I'm glad that he went back through and did that, and that should open up some more doors for him, which we all know that if you're in Demolition Derby, you need as many doors open as possible, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was very neat. I told him he had a little bit of time. So let's shift gears real quick. And we've got messages coming in.
You're not load reverse. Reverse slow.
It's so busy tonight. It is busy everywhere.
What's the questions?
It was the conversations that were happening before we went on air. Let's do WinterSLAM first. WinterSLAM is coming up this Saturday. Mm-hmm. If the weather that was here today was fast forwarded to Saturday, they would be in a real problem.
Yeah, it would be sloppy.
That would be they'd be considering putting out water to keep down the dust, but they're not going to have to worry about that.
The permafreeze would have started to melt.
February the 9th, 2019, over $12,000 in payouts, which is just huge
for
4 heats, and it fills every year. Going into this week, everything was full again, barring the arbitrary drop off here and there. The stock 80s class is the show to watch, hands down. It always is.
Yep.
We've been there for 25 to 35 car one and dones that last 12, 15 minutes.
Yeah. they get after
that
it.
includes the red flag to get the smog off the track.
Yeah. We've seen that happen before too. No, we've mentioned a bunch, WinterSLAM is definitely one of our favorite shows. Just, such a great atmosphere. Everybody's, it's kind of like, first day of school, everybody gets to see the new shoes and see each other when they come back, and so it's pretty cool. There'll be a lot of good cars there, a lot of great drivers, and the vendors all be there and selling parts, and it'll be a good time.
Rated among the top 10 best derbies in the world for the last several years. Full size class paying $2,000 to win. 80s chain class, $1,000 to win the trucks, $1,000 front wheel drives, 108 inches and under. $1,000 to win there. It's in St. Peter, Minnesota at the Nicollet County Fairgrounds. 2:00 start. The snow date, if needed, is February the 9th. Dial that back. It's February the 9th. The snow date is February the 16th. 10 a.m. the swap meet starts. Heated and non-heated spots were available for the vendors. You have to call now to get additional information on it. Heated beer tent is available as well. There's additional bonuses for all the heavy hitter classes. $300 for each class. Best paint gets $100. Longest tow gets $100. It's over 140 vehicles get wrecked in. It's usually about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty good rate.
Yeah, pretty good rate. They definitely get after it up there. We've seen some, every heat is performed well up there. Like you said, the 80s have really stepped it up. They're kind of the most aggressive heat of the night.
And the only reason that conversation comes up the way that it does, notwithstanding the compacts are aggressive as hell out there. Usually they're out there the earliest in the day, and they can slide around a little bit longer, and they just get so beat up that they're out there in limp mode.
Yeah,
they're exceptionally aggressive. They're a ton of fun to watch too. The 80s chain class, for whatever reason, is wide open aggressive from the get go.
Yeah,
remember a couple years ago, was it Colton that caught that red Cadillac nosed into the wall?
Yeah, right in front of us,
wide open.
It was the show. It was the first show after he'd won Hit of the Year at Blizzard Bash.
Yes.
He did the exact same thing at home that he did at Blizzard Bash.
And he tattooed the back of that car.
Yeah, and then went on to win the feature.
Yeah, and I think he'd won 4 or 5 in a row up to that point, taking a year off and come back and won it again to make it 5 out of 5 starts.
Yeah, he hadn't lost. He hadn't on-track loss yet the last time that I knew up there. He didn't run last year, right?
I don't think so. I think he's been every other year giving other people a chance.
Yeah, give him a break, but yeah, he does real well up there.
Jeremy Ertman, 507-525-4290 for information. Randy Wislowski, additional details can be found with him, 507-327-1944. Again, the show is presented by Napa Auto Parts and the Star Group Napa, which is a huge supporter up there. They've continued to invest and invest and invest. Nice to have a company like that, a group like that believes in the show and continues to help it to grow. And it's on very, very stable footing right now and well on track to rank into the top 10 again this year when all the voting. So I think the thing that works against WinterSLAM the most in terms of trying to crack that number 3, number 2, number 1 spot is it's in February. There's only been 2 or 3 derbies at this point of the year. When we get to the voting in December, there's been 700.
And stuff is still fresh in minds, you know what I mean? I mean, people are remembering what happened at WinterSLAM as opposed to you vote in December and you just got home from watching Blizzard Bash, which is a great show, but
which has also been number 1 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, repeatedly. But
the odd thing with WinterSLAM is they have such a frequent rotation of drivers.
Yeah,
that we've talked a lot about how they have to fall back on the draw, which is putting a large percentage of new drivers in year after year. So you're not getting the repeat vote per se either. If you got the same people that are coming year after year, you tend to get those people to buy more into the program, and maybe they're going to vote more. But nonetheless, top 5, that far removed from the end of the season.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
very impressive. I mean, it's we've touched 100 times. It really is. It's something that everybody should get out and see. Put on.
It's an experience. There is nothing like it. There is nothing like frostbite and Demolition Derby.
It's amazing how cold it gets as soon as that sun starts to go down, though. It really.
It turns like that. It can go from a balmy 12 degrees to.
And it is balmy. I mean, when we were in blue sky, or blue earth, I'm sorry, when you get up on top of that the bowl, and the wind is blowing 40 miles an hour, but we got down where the track was, it wasn't that bad. But man, that wind that sun would go down, and it would be hard putting equipment in the car afterwards.
It would be very hard putting. Yes, no question. It was very much a challenge to put everything away, mostly because none of the cables wanted to fold up.
Plus, our hands and feet didn't want to work. It was great.
Wow, I mean, if your hand freezes in the shape of a cup like that, you can grab soundboards and stuff and put them away after they're hanging onto that microphone and your knuckles are stuck like this.
Yeah, we've done that a time or two.
Uh-huh. Let's see. So Nick King's joining us on the hotline. Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're
Not
doing
bad.
Okay. We got the Southern Nationals coming up on Saturday. This is the other derby that's this weekend. We talked about WinterSLAM. You can jump online, punch in Winter-SLAM Demolition Derby 2019 and find all the information that you need there. In the events you are looking for seats, possibly even trying to get your hands on an entry pass, there might still be somebody who's dropped out last minute. Jump online, track down Randy Waslowski or Jeremy Ertman as well. The other one this weekend, February the 9th, the Southern Nationals Demolition Derby at the Hillsborough County Fairgrounds in Dover, Florida. All ready for that action to kick off. Nick making the trip from Ohio down to Florida to help with that one. You excited yet?
Yeah, I'm getting excited. 2 more days of work, then it's flight down there and enjoy some warm weather.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna. You guys didn't get the heat wave this week or today like we did up here?
Yeah, well, we got ours yesterday. It was like 60 here yesterday.
Yeah, that hit us today.
Yeah.
It's definitely not bad, but it's different to get down to Florida. We were down there last year, and it was other than the fire ants, it was a great trip.
Yeah.
Of course, Nick was
a little excited. People starting to ask those last minute questions and finishing up their builds and should be hitting the road. A lot of people's traveling from all over this year, so cars should be on the road probably Wednesday or Thursday. I would say people traveling down. So,
of course, Nick's going to be there on time this year because we won't be stuck on a boat in the ocean waiting to unload.
Yes.
So tell us how all the planning and stuff has gone this year. You've got a new facility, so there's got to be a learning curve there, and then you've got the returning of the event with not a whole lot changed. It didn't appear in terms of the conversations that we had with Josh and for what you've got with the rules and things. So where's the show at?
The new fairground that we got is at the Hillsborough Fair. JC Molly's ran there a lot of times. JC is the backbone of this thing, man. He's traveled throughout Florida after that last year's Derby, and he found one of the best fairgrounds that we could get, we think. And my mom and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, all my nieces and nephews, they're all here in Ohio. They just love Derby, and then it's like, we want to go. I'm like, well, I want to be in Florida so they can just all get together and watch it. I love that derbies can be put on TV nowadays. I love it more than anything.
Yep. Yeah, we've definitely come a long way in the last few years. So, like I said, if you can't be there, by all means, it's a free live stream. So get on there and check that out. It's gonna be a great show. Like I said, the entry list is second to none. So be a good time. Chris, are you getting everything figured out over there?
No, it's not us.
Oh, what is it?
It's not us. It is not us this time. It looks like YouTube has either blocked or...
Yeah, for any guys that's coming in, I don't know, a lot of guys are traveling in. We still have some rooms at like La Quada Inn. They're in Tampa, and the other one is Spring Hill Suites, I believe it is.
How far How far is the Derby from Tampa?
We're staying at the Spring Hill Suites right there in Tampa, and it's like an 18-minute drive.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
No, so it's a close area once you get into Tampa there. Like I said, we got 2 hotels where we got blocks, rooms blocked off or whatever it is.
Cool.
It's a 18-minute drive, 20-minute max to the track, I believe.
Oh, that's cool. So if you fly into Tampa, you're basically there.
Yeah, that's where I'm flying in.
Cool.
I'm flying in on Thursday morning into Tampa, and I can literally go right to the track. But
cool.
I got to go spend a day on the beach Thursday with my wife, and then I'll be at the track. We'll be at the track all day Friday.
Hey, I don't want to tell you your business, but I highly advise that you get like sunscreen 97 because you're coming from freezing up here to Florida down there, and you don't want to look like a lobster crawling all over those cars trying to inspect them, man.
Yeah, I normally wear a T-shirt and do my arms. I don't like when my back gets fried. Every time we go on a cruise or to Florida, I get burnt at one point, and I hate it more than anything. So I'll go out and swim or whatever I do, then right back to putting a shirt on.
Yep. Yeah, because that sun will get you down there. But
yeah,
Chris is up here furiously working on the program.
I am producing today. The thing is with all that's going on back here, like you hear all the clicking and you see me changing screens and stuff, I am doing everything we can to get this back up. And at home, the only thing anybody sees is a blank screen, and they're like, they can't do anything right. You know what I mean?
True.
That is the endless battle. Rob Euro was right there saying, "Hey, I think we lost everything." And I'm like, I'm juggling the plates on sticks.
So what do you think it is, bud?
It seems like there's something in YouTube right now, is what it looks like, because everything else was working. I ran a couple quick spot tests to see, and both machines are still connected to the internet. My phone's still connected to the internet. So I don't know.
We were playing music, so we could have got kicked off.
I know,
that.
right?
But all else since that happened, we're due.
Look, I could deal with that. I get it. Somebody watching didn't like that we said something of maybe one of the compact guys from WinterSLAM got mad that we said that their show wasn't the number one thing to watch and reported the video, and now we get kicked off YouTube. We're in YouTube detention for the rest of the night, which is really going to make Jim mad because I think they got a basketball game this evening to take care of. But hey, friend to friend, it's all Demolition Derby and everybody's buddies, right?
Wow. So if this doesn't get straightened out, they won't be able to do the basketball?
It could be that they turned on their basketball stream and it kicked us off.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Did you text or email Jim?
I did. That is among the clicking that was done. That's the beauty of being live. If anybody wonders what it's like to produce one of these things, you're welcome to come in. I'll give you a tutorial.
I just sit over here and look pretty while Chris works on everything over there.
It's come to a point when we get in a situation like this, it's not even like there's no panic anymore.
No.
It's just like, okay.
We've been through worse.
All right, so
there was that time we went to WinterSLAM when they dropped your bag out of the airplane at 36,000 feet.
Wasn't that friendly of them?
Everything was broke.
Everything. You want to know what was broke?
Everything.
And you want to know what UPS did to help?
Nothing.
I believe they said, leave the store, OGFY.
Yeah. That was what
helpful.
it was.
It was very helpful.
So
I certainly enjoyed it. Online, if you want more information on this one, Southern Nationals Demolition Derby has its own event page. It's made by the 2019 Southern Nationals Demolition Derby event page. So you've got all the information right there. Rules, contacts, people that are in charge, all that stuff can be found there. The projection right now, 64 to 75 degrees.
Nice.
And mostly sunny. So if you think the beach was nice, wait till you get to hang out crawling all around Demolition Derby cars in the sand and sun, and then get to watch them all wreck each other later on. Nick will be definitely, if he's not lobster burned from the sun, he'll be lobster burned from the sand.
Absolutely.
But at least he's got something to look forward to.
Well, this year, we actually got a 40 by 40 tent coming this year, so we can camp under that and inspect cars.
That'll be nice.
Well, that definitely isn't a bad option right there. That's a good move.
Yeah.
We are back. Welcome to all the folks that were watching the last 15 minutes of Black Screen.
You can go back and watch it and see what we talked about.
Well, hopefully with the data going to the internet, nothing is lost. I'm gonna bank on that. We had that happen once before, but not for that amount of time. So we'll see what happens.
Remember that one time it blew up and we went downstairs and tried to like do a pirate radio sort of thing, and
I do.
We got like 4 minutes here and 2 minutes there, and
I do.
We just shook our heads and left.
We went to the basement of the old Dove building that we were in, and you can't talk on your cell phone.
Yeah.
So we decided, since that doesn't work, we should try a podcast because we're gonna persevere and fight through this. And once we got the equipment out from the bottom of the canal, we realized we'd never do that again.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was not good.
It was bad. But big derby this weekend, so hopefully everybody, you guys get a great turnout and a bunch of people watch online and have to get a
That's what we're hoping for. We get a big crowd and the track shot. Hopefully a lot of people's watching. I've heard from a lot of people, from other drivers that's coming from like Minnesota, Indiana, all that other place. A bunch of their buddies that Derby is going to be watching to see how it's going to possibly sign up next year. So hopefully everything goes great and all the other Derby guys are watching and that's thinking about coming to run next year. Watch it on track shot or even book a flight real quick on Friday and fly on down to Tampa and come on over and watch.
Chris and I were thinking about doing that. We got to see how it works out.
We talked a lot about a lot of things, and I got to tell you about GoDaddy this weekend. GoDaddy helped me out a lot this week. I got to fill you in on that.
After the show?
What's that?
After the show.
Yes, that's after the show because there's way too many profanities to come with that tapestry to do it on the air. Nick, I wanted to hit on something that you mentioned a minute ago that I didn't get to while we were juggling everything that was happening here. Did you say right that the locals are into the kickers, but they don't like the cradles, but the guys that have the cradles can't have kickers? Can you go over that one more time?
Yeah, so basically last year and the year before when we've all been down there, the locals down there in Florida or Georgia or, the southern states, a lot of them guys don't have the kicker or all the protectors, the engine cradles, the trans protectors, all that good stuff. So this year we allowed them to have kickers.
Okay.
So they get the 3/8 plate just like the other guys do, just like all the cars do for the team show. A-arms forward, 3/8 plate. But if you have all the protectors, you're not allowed to have the kickers behind the A-arms.
Right.
If you don't have you're still allowed to have a lower, just a standard lower engine cradle, with a Ford protector.
Sure.
With kickers, but if you have a distributor protector, if you just have a distributor protector, that gets rid of your kickers.
Now, you've built cars Ohio style, and in that same vein, Blizzard Bash style, what those cars can be. Are those guys that are running the kickers, in your opinion, putting their engine blocks at risk? Because it would seem to me, without the cradle, you're running some pretty risky moves in terms of the bell housing on the transmission and the block.
Yeah, I mean they are. I believe they are, but most of these cars are probably going to go at the spring buckets because of the kickers or the pressure they have on the cradles. Mm-hmm. So if they go at the spring bucket or right behind that 3/8 plate, more than likely they're going to break, before the motor gets any pressure on it.
Okay.
I say if anything breaks on them, it'll be the trans if it wants to dump out on them.
Right.
But if they got their kickers in, right and welded in good, it shouldn't want to dump, at the firewall. It's going to want to break at the spring bucket or the right behind that 3/8 plate.
Sure.
Of course, it also depends on who did what to their spring buckets.
Well, I wasn't even going there yet. I wasn't even going there yet.
Spring buckets are going to be a big focus on inspection.
So that takes care of your question. My question or my thought on that is you've got these guys that are just starting to buy into what's happening in terms of these builds, and if they go and build like this and they've got an okay-ish motor, it's not like they've gone out and got the high-dollar motor, an okay-ish transmission or a reliable transmission out that gets split down the center. Are these builders going to be new world welcoming still? Are they going to be resilient to rebuild and try it again, or is it going to be one of those things like, remember what happened at Waterloo? We had a really, really good mod show, and then a bunch of guys got their stuff broken and said, I'm never doing that again. But because they saw it happen on TV, they thought they could make it work in their garage, and they put it together, and the pieces of the puzzle didn't make the picture it was supposed to. And
boy, was it fun to watch.
Right. But it led to a lot of hurt feelings, and it led to a lot of resentment, and that's one of those things you've almost gotta safeguard yourself against.
You know, I think demolition derby more than any other sport, except, and this is going to be far fetched, but let me make a circle and then
go.
Other than maybe sprint car racing, demolition derby is one of those sports that even the best can get bit in the ass, because if you go through the list of drivers, I bet you can't name a top tier driver that hasn't broken a block, or hasn't broken multiple blocks, or hasn't broken multiple transmissions. You know, it's a learning curve, and everybody kind of, if you're going to run at this level, you have to go through it. It's just part of this learning level. I mean, you know, you can think you can do everything just the way someone tells you, but it doesn't mean that it's going to come out right. You know, it's just, and you know, it's the same thing with sprint car racing, because you know, Steve Kinser's got 20 titles, but you can look on YouTube and see him in his, you know, from when he was dominating until his last few years, he was winning, but he was also tumbling head over heels, like, you know.
Right.
I mean, this sport can bite the best in the ass, so it's part of a learning curve.
Okay, so along what you're saying in terms of the best being bitten in the ass, I get you. But you know, the thing is like I'm trying to make the comparisons, and the only thing that I can maybe come close to is some of the NASCAR stuff when they go to restrictor plates. But you're right in terms of the failures, and Steve Kinser running on the ragged edge with Donnie Schatz, or any of those guys, Darren Pittman, any of the sprint car names that are out there, they hook a tire goes flat or something like that, and they are cartwheeling and their stuff is destroyed. You're right, and the difference is that Steve Kinser has plenty of stuff to replace it and the money to replace it, and some of those other guys don't. But I also think, by the same token, but the flip side is our sport shares something in common with like 4-cylinder racing, where it's fickle, where you've got the casual guy who wants to go run 4-cylinders. And I'm talking circle track or street stock or hobby stock, wherever you are in the country where they run a late 80s Monte Carlo body race car, where it'll only take 4 or 5 times where you don't win, or you don't do well, or somebody screws you, or you get bumped the wrong way, or you think somebody's cheating, and that car's up for sale. Just like that. So I think there's equal parts to that fickleness. You know, you don't see that in big blocks. You don't see it in sportsman. You don't see it in 360s. You don't see it in drag racing as much. But it's those entry tier circle track things. So I'll give you the sprint car thing, but I think that there's some concession to be made for that 4-cylinder street stock analogy too.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think, Nick?
I think down in Florida, them guys, just from the guys that I know, like my first year ever going to Florida, JC put me in a car, and it didn't have no protectors or nothing. It just had some kickers. And there was another guy, Billy Benoit, I think it's how you pronounce his last name, really good guy from Florida. He didn't have all the protectors and all that, and then the very next thing you know, he has all the cradles and everything.
Right. That's cool.
So I think down in Florida, if them guys do break their trance or something, most of them is going to laugh about it and say they'll come back next year and, you know, what do I need to buy?
That's
most
good.
of them.
That's good to hear.
Well,
even whenever I derbied full size, like years ago, and I ran at the bash and all that, I didn't think I needed the trans protectors and all that. And then once you break one, you're like, oh man, I did need the trans protector. I got to buy a trans protector.
Right.
You know, and when you really want to get into it, yeah, you're going to go to, you know, NLR or Ski or whoever it may be and buy the whole setup for $2,500 where it comes right to your door, a trans with it, you know, protected and everything. But you're going to have to break some stuff in order to spend the money. You know what I mean? Because if you think you can get by with not spending the money, that's for any sport. You're going to do it.
Right.
So you break something, and you're going to be like, oh, if I want to keep doing this, I need to spend the money.
Only a matter of time.
Call it cubic dollars.
That's just like here at home. We run street stock front wheel drives. You know, like we can have 50 cars in one heat here. And when they first come around, I thought my driving was going to be good enough to where I didn't need to buy a Crown Vic, square body Crown Vic bumper for $200. I can just run the one that's on the front and be good. I can hide my front end. And well, that worked until I got down to 5 guys, and 4 guys had Crown Vic front bumpers, and they hit me front to front, jumped me.
Right.
So I said, oh, well, that can only last so long. Now I got to go out and buy me a bumper, so when that does happen, I got something to hit them back with.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, that's good. It's good to hear because there is a degree of trying to ease things in smooth and make sure you don't leave the local guys out. And that population down there seems like they're receptive to it. They're willing to learn from it, and you guys are doing the right way of introducing it, giving them a little bit, taking a little bit away from the other guys, and trying to keep that field balanced. You're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, that was our main thing, was trying to keep it fair. These guys, they could love running kickers so bad. They may say, oh, we can run these kickers and this plate and the added distributor protector and come to Ohio and run. We're going to do that. We're going to buy that and come to Ohio and run.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never know because they get that option of having the kickers. I'm curious to see how it's going to play if a Crown Vic with kickers or a Cadillac with kickers does hit another car with no kickers, and see how it goes, depending on how they put in their motors and all that.
Well, you'll have a chance to see it first person if you can't get down to Dover, Florida, and the Hillsborough County Fairgrounds for that Florida Southern Nationals. You can watch it online at TrackShot. You can find that through DerbyTixUSA.com. Nick King joining us on the hotline. We've got Brad Witt coming up here momentarily. Nick, I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us for a little while. And hopefully the questions...
Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Travel safe, and hopefully we didn't throw you any unfair questions, but that was very interesting to learn that about the way the rules are shaking out and what you guys are doing down there in terms of building that thing the right way so that you keep the support. That's awesome. You guys definitely deserve it. Joe deserves that for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That's the one guy that, if I want this show to go great for anyone, it's for Joe. You know what I mean? He's put his heart and soul into this, and that's the reason why I'm fully into it. I'm like, I'll answer all the questions. You worry about getting us the fairgrounds, and you put everything else on me. The day of the Derby, if I got to do everything that's in my possible mind to do, I'll do it. So he can, have his fun, and he's still building it up. So we're going to have a good time and good turnout. People's coming, like I said, from all over. I know Mike Tix is coming from Minnesota, and I'm pretty sure he's coming by himself because his partner backed out.
Wow.
So he said, I've already committed. He said, I'm committed. I've already signed up. I'll be there. So I don't know how long of a drive it is, but I know it's a haul, so I'm pretty excited about, just all the guys coming.
Awesome.
Cool.
Have a great show down there, and we'll touch base through the weekend, find out how things are going, and talk more maybe Monday.
All right, cool. See you guys. Thank you.
Take care, Nick.
Yep. Bye.
There goes Nick King. The tow from Minnesota to Florida is 87 hours.
At least. That's if you drive straight through.
Yeah. Yuck.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That's a long ways to go.
Yeah, very long ways to go. Coming up here quick, March 21st through the 23rd is Capital City Carnage 2019. Find more details online at capitalcitycarnage.com. Thursday the 21st is the heat draws. I was looking through some of those entry lists again today, and names continue to pop off the list. Scott Svingen on the list as well, which we'll get into that here momentarily. Friday is the first round of qualifying heats for the limited weld cars at 7 o'clock. Saturday on the 23rd is the doubleheader, 10 o'clock start for the limited welds. Consolation round for them, the compacts, and the first group of extreme two-man action. And at 7 o'clock, the 10,000 win limited weld feature, the modifieds, and the final flight of the two-man extreme cars. Again, CapitalCityCarnage.com, hosted by Smash It Demolition Derbies. Online, CapitalCityCarnage.com, March 21st through the 23rd. On Facebook, if you do want more information on the Southern Nationals, again, you can go to their Facebook page. Just look them up. Southern Nationals Demolition Derby, all the info's right there. You can track all that stuff down. Super, super easy. So let's change gears here a little bit and take a look at that driver's list. So a couple names right off the top jumped off at me. Lane Hall is going to be there. Tanner Elder. David Dimel going to be in action. Junior Cardwell. Richard Gomot on the entry list. And
we've seen him have some real good runs in at Blizzard Bash in the standalone class, correct?
Yeah.
With Mopars?
Yup. He's done that. And then he was on I believe he was on the blue team that got put over the berm almost immediately by Guard IFD at Blizzard Bash.
I don't remember.
Years and years ago. It was 4-on-3, and the blue team was backed up to us, and I think Jeremy Gard was with
The last year Jeremy ran?
I think so. And they stuffed them up on the dirt then, and then they came back through the Consi, and they were just laying hammers. They had, I almost want to say that might have even been with some of the original Mopar Express crew. Trying to go way back, but
You've been there a lot.
I'm digging. I'm trying to remember. I want to remember. Body is willing. Or mind is willing, but body is weak. Yeah. Sean Vrana back in the entry list. Kasten Hepner, we saw him do well out there in the past. Definitely gave us reasons to talk about it. But then things got a little bit deeper the further you get. Lucas Pritchett is on the list. Trey Hewer, Rob Hewer, Eric Daimel, Levi Boas going to be in that draw as well. Matt Foss is on the entry list. Ty McCulloch, Jason Dials.
I hope Jason brings something because he's brought some awesome. Like last year, did he bring the old Ford wagon, or was that 2 years ago?
I think last year was the year that he had the run with the Roundback.
Was it?
Wasn't it?
No, I don't think Jason's had a Roundback out there. He had a Roundback at Blizzard Bash. That's what
I'm
Colton,
thinking of Jonathan Muse.
Yeah.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah, he had a Ford wagon. He brings some cool stuff.
Yes.
He's brought some cool cars.
Speaking of Jonathan, John Muse is on there. Travis Rogers, Bor Christensen on there. Scott Svingen, Tony Fassbender, and Dakota Fassbender both on the list. Chris Collins, Matt Schilling, Chris Frericks, Nathan Gill. It is going to be awesome.
Over under for Chevy wagons or GM wagons.
You're asking me to pick over or under, or are you asking me to name the number?
Over under. Like, what do you think it's going to be?
Well, you need to give me a number to pick whether I'm over or under.
There's some stuff going on. I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah, I wasn't real excited about that. I don't know. This has been an odd night.
What was really weird, like when there was noise going on over there, the only thing that's over there is outside.
Yeah.
Did you notice that a couple seconds ago? All right.
Did. So, if you want me to pick over or under, you need to give me what the number is, whether I'm going to pick over or under. Like
12.
I would say 12. I think it's going to be under that. It's going to be less than 12.
Think so?
Yes. Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen that many out there, even for Capital City Carnage. I don't think we saw a dozen.
Last year there was a bunch. I don't think we saw
a dozen. Yeah, a bunch isn't a dozen. I think there was like 8, 9.
I don't know. We'll have to count. That'll be something we can check on.
Something that we can look into.
We'll be there. Sure. Walking around, talking.
With all the people that are messaging us tonight, one of them could jump online and look it up. Compacts. Do you know the first name that's on the list?
I'm going to guess it's from Compact Cadillac.
Yes. Do you know who it is?
No.
Kevin Ullman.
All right.
Jarrett Hatch is on there. Trevor Mulder, Scott Mulder is on there. Brad Ross, Nate Middendorf is going to make the trip down from Minnesota again.
Wasn't
Josh
he
Eikens?
Wasn't Nate at Bash for Cash last year?
Yeah, he had that yellow, that oddball Ford.
Yeah, he had the smaller, almost like a Fairmont.
I think it was something along those lines, Fairmont Granada, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was him. And he was telling us it was like the perfect hybrid between a Fox Body Ford and a Crown Vic.
Yeah, and he did well with it. He broke a wheel off, but eventually, he was doing well.
Yes, he did. Tony Brellinger is on the list. Mike Koch from up in Minnesota also going to make the tow down. Bruce Johnson on the list. Ken Duff, Nick Austin, Ralph and RJ, Lee Joie, Blaine Hall. It just keeps on going. Mm-hmm. The compact side is going to be a lot of fun to watch. The 2-man extreme is going to be good. I would probably advise that you go on there and look. Dylan Hall and Blake Hall are going to be running together, so they're going to be busy all weekend. I saw the Reeds, Caleb and Austin Reed are going to be running together. Tanner and Tyler Evans are going to be running together. That side, you need to go through and look at it because we don't have the breakdown yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's going to be with what to really even get in deep on that. Mod class is going to be fun too. It always is. TJ Falkenberry, it's going to be good to see him. Troy Bohannon. Remember Troy from last year with the double turbo setup?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going with that this year. I think
That wasn't even the modified last year though. That was just in one of the standalone. That was in the 2-man extreme.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that this year. Heath Schulte on the list. Cole Billsley, Dustin Peck, Dylan Kunkel, Brody Brown, Kyle Pudewitter, Jake Benters. Awesome lineup for the back.
They were, and I see today somebody mentioned to brain fart. Runs. He was on Tommy Stark's team at Blizzard Bash. Come on, always call him the old man.
Eddie Chick.
Yeah, he was mentioning today signing up for the mod class, taking his Blizzard Bash car. I saw that on Facebook. So that would be another entry. He's typing.
So, yes, and that was spelled perfectly. We got to get Brad Witt on the phone. I promise we'll go through that. I can't wait for the heat draws.
Yeah.
The heat draws are going to be spectacular.
Yeah, going to be very interesting. Here's one for you. Do you remember the young lady that drove last year at Capital City Carnage and was in the running for Mad Dog? She put on a show in the heat.
Is that the Cochran girl?
No.
Brad, let me put you in. No, I can't. I actually don't place it.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. No, I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't remember. We'll have to look at last year's, if we can find it, and see. Because she put on a hell of a show last year. I was hoping she'd be back.
I don't know. I've actually navigated away from that page now. I closed it because I got to leave the. I feel bad. I leave you hung out to dry because I'm staring at the camera. Nobody wants to look at the side of my head. I mean, this isn't a winning perspective. I'm no Josh Decker.
That profile is better than the whole thing.
Yeah, it's about half the face. Oh man, Capital City Carnage again online. If you want to look at the drivers list, you can go to the Capital City Carnage Facebook page, or you can jump online and look at the list there as well. Brad Witt joining us on the line to bring us full circle. As we were talking, Blue Ridge Bash is in the Carolinas February the 16th, so that actually helps complete our month leading up to this team show that Brad's on to talk about February the 23rd in Des Moines. Brad, how are you?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Brad is on to talk about something other than RC cars, which is a big step for all of us, Brad.
Yeah. We're talking about RC cars, right?
I guess so.
Not just drinking it goes with it.
Right.
No, we got to we're talking, we did Blizzard Bash, and, between Mark Miller, Schaefer, I, and a few others, we kind of wanted to get back to that taste a little bit and run 4-car team this year rather than 2-car teams. So Des Moines kind of the middle grounds between Minnesota and Kansas, and this time we're lucky we don't have to travel a few hours, so we're kind of liking that part. But so we got probably about 9 teams so far. See if we can get another team or 3 other teams, really go at it and see what we could do. But it's February 23rd there in Des Moines, and we're trying to do tech around 10 a.m., start around 12, and go from there. But so far we got 2 teams from Kansas, 1 or 2 teams from Minnesota, a team kind of out northeast Iowa, Sean Porth, Mitch Bodolin. Tyler Ford's run it too. He's ran at Blizzard Bash a few times, so we got a big-time known driver running in it too, so that's always fun. But yeah, good times.
That's cool. So is this going to be wide open one and done type thing, or is this going to be a case where you've got everybody broken down into heats?
We're going to do team versus team, and it's probably going to be more like your limited weld compact classes brackets down at Blizzard Bash. So
yeah,
winner advances to the A main, and so we did do that 4-car teams down at Blizzard Bash a couple of times, but the first year we had about 15 teams, and we did more towards national qualifying brackets.
Right.
We had 2 rounds to get to the A main, but we're kind of limited on time, so the Kansas, Minnesota guys need to get back, get leaving at a decent time. So
sure.
Don't want their wives to be yelling at them for rolling in at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Right.
Ain't that the truth?
You probably don't want that. But, I mean, I think it's cool that, we've talked a lot about how things branch off and continue to expand and get better and better and better.
Absolutely.
Now we've got team derbies cropping up that are on the national landscape that aren't even tied to a live action derby event per se. It's just a standalone RC event. We were joking earlier. I should probably clarify because we did jump into that fast. This is a RC team event, and it's drawing teams from up and down the central part of the United States. It's just fantastic to see.
Very cool.
We've been kind of doing that. Mitch Willing and Court up there around Manchester, Iowa, northeast Iowa. They used to put on derbies where we'd have teams from Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and we had some big turnouts there too. And but we'd be running out of a shop, so anytime you're running a drill, you're hoping you don't bash your elbow into somebody else's car and gash it wide open, bleeding all over. So
right.
So this place has got a little bit of elbow room. So
Leon Rumsey just messaged me and said that the understanding that he had was that you weren't going to run this derby because there was no participation trophies. Is that true?
Is that the girl from Kansas?
That's
Yeah. I think I've met her before.
There's a lot of love in the derby world.
Yeah. It's spiraling downhill fast.
But I do think there's more trash talk in this than there is anything else, because I mean, you can trash talk and you go out and they destroy your little RC body, and it's like, oh well, I guess I have to build another one. You don't have that,
right.
couple grand to buy a car and 5 months of trying to build it. It'd probably take me like 10 years to build one of the cars for Blizzard Bash. So
right.
This way I can drink a little beer, spend a couple hours throwing something together, and just show up.
What's going to happen at Blizzard Bash this year? Is that going to be back at that RC facility near the complex, or is it going to be back on the showgrounds itself?
Yeah, so Trent would have more information.
Okay.
Out of Kansas. So he would have more information. It's going to be at the RC park again.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, just taking out the racing track and putting in an arena, so we're running on hard clay.
Right.
We're going to go back to the 4-car format for team. Mm-hmm. They're probably going to run individual to follow, and he would be the man to talk to on that.
Okay.
But that's kind of what I know so far. And so I'm going to stick with, hopefully Tegan can make it down and me and him will run, and we'll be taking applications for team members. So
right.
Get your resumes ready.
Right.
Everybody wants to be on his team. He's the new killer out there. So
that's cool. I just want to have a car that keeps steering for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's always good.
That's all.
Yeah, but drivers don't need steering.
Yeah, I kind of let him down. Like in our heat, his battery went bad, and then in the Conci, he is tearing people up, and I'm just laughing and drinking a beer, just saying, "Oh, there's my key to the main," and his battery went dead again on me, and it's like, "Oh, you got to kid me." I felt bad for him, so
right.
He had it going. So those kids.
Was it your battery?
Yeah, it was one of my batteries.
Is it puffed up and got a memory?
But the bad thing is like, you could joke about having kids in that arena with you,
mm-hmm.
but they don't care who you are. If you hit them, they're coming after you. They're going to try to kill you. Even my cousin had Aaron Tucker, he had a couple kids running, and I came over to his son or daughter. They flipped me over, and it kind of made me mad. Then they kept junking me, arena shots. So I took one of the kids out, started going after the other one that was bashing on me. Then next thing I know, me and Aaron went after it, head to head for about 20 minutes, and it made for a good time, though.
That's cool.
Yeah, those things are nasty. I've watched them a few times with you guys, and they definitely put on a hell of a show. I mean, they,
those kids in Ohio are insane.
Yeah, and it's funny because even in RC derbies, you got the guys running for Mad Dog, you got the guys sandbagging the wind. It's great. There's everything you have in the full size cars, you got it in the mini, so it's pretty cool.
It's quite neat.
Yeah, and with the sandbagging, it's you just try to implement as many rules as possible where you can just stop and just look at them and say, hey, do it again, you're out. But I mean, I think down at Blizzard Bash, it's kind of been well talked about, and if somebody's doing it, you either got an official pointing at them, and then you're going to have drivers trying to smoke them. So
right. Yeah, you can't get caught standing around at Blizzard Bash.
No.
I mean, if you
In the big cars either.
the guys that sandbag with a little RC toy car, I mean, kudos to them, but
I ever tell you about Nate?
I don't have the patience.
Brad, I ever tell you about Nate up here? One of the guys up this way?
Who's that?
Nate White. You remember Nate? He runs around with Jake Doyle quite a bit.
If I saw him, maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
He showed up with his car. He had his throttle turned down to about 30%, and the car was in training mode to stretch his battery out. So when he turned it up wide open, he was running about just like, just crawling along. And he goes, "There's nothing in the rules that says that you can't." And I'm like, "Don't do it again. No."
Well,
Get that out
we
of here.
ran
Come
into
on.
that. We ran into that before where, I've been in a main and it came down to 3 of us and we're all kind of doing whatever. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep pounding on them. And, next thing I know, my battery's going dead and they're running for another 30 minutes. Like, whoa, wait a second.
Right.
But we kind of ran into that there. Blizzard Bash 2016 a little bit with a certain driver on team. And
Right.
since then, it's kind of like, everybody kind of agreed that, if you're going to haul your car however far to your toy car, that's what I call them, but they're fun. But if you can't hit with one of those, I mean, I guess I got a different outlook to it, but I'm going there to smoke cars and trash my car and, God willing, have a couple beers, so...
Sounds like fun to
Have a
me.
good time.
If you're sandbagging with an RC car, you need to do some self-reflecting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming after him, so...
What I need to do is I need to send you one of my chassis. I got 2 chassis, so I need to send you one and just have you go through it, and then you can send me a bill for what it costs to get it up and going and figure out what's going on with the steering servos, what's up with the batteries, have you go through the transmission, because you're sort of a guru at all this stuff. I'll just send it to you, have you look at it.
I have my own mechanics to do that work, like Aaron and Dan Trendle, Kyle Drasdale. If you send it to me, just don't be looking on eBay because you might see something similar to yours. So I might just sell it.
If I send it to
Beer money
Brad,
for Blizzard Bash.
if I send it to Brad, I need to send along all the baggies so he can put all the parts that he took off it in, and then maybe I'll get it back, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
No, it works out pretty good. My fingers are too fat where I don't have the patience to work on those, so those guys are pretty good at it, and most of those guys are, so
Awesome.
people come to me asking questions like, all right, I'm going to have you talk to this person, and, I'm like Cole Trickle. I'm just a driver.
There you go.
I can't tell Harry what's wrong with the car.
That's the best analogy I've ever heard.
Is there an event on Facebook for this? There's some place everybody can go to find the rules, etc. Get signed up.
Yeah, go to Iowa Mad Dog or
Okay.
Derby, and we also have like a pre-register. You just go on. You got to use you might have to do it from a computer. It doesn't sound like you could do it from your phone. To click on it, and then you could edit it. Sounds like you have to do it from a laptop and not your phone.
Is it like a Google Doc? A shared Google Doc?
Yeah,
Okay.
like Excel or something.
Right. Yep.
We have Mark and Tracy Hodges usually make that up for us.
Nice.
They're from the Murray area with Pat O'Neill and Tyler Fleming, so
Cool.
they run pretty hard. So another thing I want to talk to you about is, do you remember a couple years back, I don't know, Blizzard Bash, Capital City Carnage? I think it's Capital City Carnage. I was the first one to sign up for Crash Course dating site.
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, I just want to say that it didn't work, so I need to cancel my subscription. It's kind of like Joe Boo can't help me with the curveball.
Okay. Sounds great.
I missed this part.
I was most eligible bachelor. Shortly after, I forgot about it too until he just brought it up.
Yeah, you and Decker had a good time on that one.
Yeah. Josh and Brad had a real good time joking around about that. Brad was going to the gym and stuff, and he was looking for a future ex Mrs. Wright. And And so he asked if Crash Course could get him hooked up if there's any available, derby ladies that were really into studly fellas that run RC cars. And, if you can believe it, there weren't any that responded.
Wow.
if you can believe that. So, yeah, you got to cancel it. It is what it is.
I'm just glad he didn't bring up, the difference.
I didn't.
Similarities between the real cars and then the scaled down cars, RC cars.
Nope. I know what you're alluding to. We're not doing it.
I can see you getting made fun of for
not
that.
Not happening. Nope. Nothing. Nope.
Oh, goodness.
I'm a humble man.
There's actually 3 or 4 different ways you could have gone with that. I don't want to venture down any of those roads. It was always good to talk to you, Brad. You can jump online, Iowa Mad Dog RC, for additional details on the Team RC Derby coming up in Des Moines, Iowa, on February the 23rd. Anything else that we got to hit on, Brad, before we let you go?
Nope, just looking forward to Capital Carnage, watching that, and seeing a big show. Good show. So.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming on and talking to us a little bit. Again, February the 23rd, Iowa Mad Dog RC on Facebook. For more details, you can find it there.
All right, thanks, sir.
Appreciate it, Brad. We'll catch you soon.
Yep, bye.
He scared the crap out of me when he started heading down that road. Nope. Nope. I don't want to have to hang up on you, but I will.
We will. Click.
Yeah. Oh,
so they do with the big shows.
you're breaking up on us, Brad. Well, for all intents and purposes, Show 260 was a almost success. The internet bounced back. We appear to have had all of it. Rob Euro was able to watch through the duration. I appreciate you sticking out through the end of it. Leon Rumsey tuning in as well. That's going to do it for us here at the North Park Building at Academy Square. We went over by a few minutes. Stay tuned to Finger Lakes 1. You'll be able to catch that basketball game coming to you live. There's a doubleheader happening. So stay tuned. Check that out. We'll be back here again next Monday with a full recap of Florida. We're going to be talking with Ed Brewster about some of the stuff that's coming up on his radar. Jim Mullen's going to be on to be talking about Finger Lakes Speed World. Tons of stuff happening in New York next week in terms of what's happening in the RC Demolition Derby event showcase world, plus all the action on Florida and WinterSLAM. We'll see you then. The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.